Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Zoom at 8. My name is Julie Ann Peterson, and I am your host every Tuesday night for Zoom at 8. And we have been here for almost 6 years. It has been amazing. So many of you have made this, it's like a cult following, right? Every Tuesday night. So, anyway, we've had some amazing speakers. We call them industry experts who come here and share their knowledge, their information, whether they have a product, a service, or they're investor, tell us about how it was to get into a deal, how to capital raise. We have it all going on here at Zoom at 8. During the day, I am a loan officer for Old Capital. And boy, oh boy, we've been in business a long time. 38 years, closed 8,000 loans. We are specialists in multifamily. So if you guys are looking for a deal, I'd love to be your lender of choice. So what do we need? We need a T12, a rent roll, an OM, which is an offering memorandum, and your underwriting. Package it all up. Tell me how long you want to hold it. Give me the address. Give me the number of units. Tell me what we want for the business plan. I'm going to marry the right debt for your delivery to your returns for your investors, right? That is the whole point of getting into multifamily, because we want to make positive returns. I told you I only made $4,600 on a recent transaction that closed for me on a shopping center. So we want to make sure that your investors make a little bit more than that. So let's get on with the show. All right. Now, remember, everybody, we have an industry expert tonight, Perry Zheng. He is the founder and CEO of Cash Flow Portal, a modern real estate syndication software program. He is an engineering manager. He was an engineering manager at Lyft. Wow, for 5.5 years, and worked as a software engineer at Twitter, now called X, and Amazon. Perry is also a lead sponsor on 850 plus apartment units, having raised $20 million. That is amazing for real estate projects and generating 30% plus on annualized returns for his investors. And he's been in the business. He saw that there was this opportunity to use his skills, whereby he has this portal, cash flow portal, and it is an amazing product. Number one, so many functionality and offerings for you and your investor. So I'm excited tonight because we're going to talk about AI, artificial intelligence. I got the intelligence. It's just not artificial. I need a little help. And I've been waiting for this to be delivered, and I'm excited. I think we're probably the first place that is rolling this out, because it's hot off the presses, Perry, and I'm just so excited to have you back. As always, thank you for joining us tonight for Zoom at 8. How's it going?
Doing well. Yeah, lots of demos on our AI underwriting.
So this is not your first one here? Okay, well, that's all right. I know you were waiting. Hey, everybody, if you would go up to the right-hand side of your screen and look for the view and bring it to speaker view. Now you're looking at me, and
Uh,
we want to give all of our attention over to our amazing guest, Perry Zhang, and he's going to walk us through this new offering through Cashflow Portal. So take it away, Perry.
I love it. And folks, feel free to ask more questions. I want to make this very um, interactive. Okay. So I heard a lot of you speak, and you folks are all very experienced real estate investors. Just a little bit about the company. We want to be a all-in-one technology solution for commercial real estate. So that means going from the very beginning to the end. So like the end-to-end integration. We did start off with the investor portal that helps you manage your LPs. So that's kind of investor relations. But we realized that not everyone who is in commercial real estate is raising money. They could be underwriting, they could be prospecting new investors, they could be networking, and eventually they may need to manage their property. So we decided there are two choices. We can become just a investor portal for everything, or we can become a a fully integrated technology solution for commercial real estate. The second choice is what we end up being. So towards that end, we've been working on this AI enabled underwriting that helps not just general partners, but also LPs or lenders or property management companies and brokers underwrite commercial real estate with the emphasis on multifamily. People have used it for mobile home parks and retail, but mostly it's for multifamily. Then we have a CRM system that allows you to market your prospective deals to your investors that include like texting, that include drip campaigns, automations. So think of Go High Level, but we built Go High Level from the ground up. Now, why is that useful? That's because you can start off by underwriting, and then once you feel like this deal is good to go, you can make the LOI through it. And then once that deal gets accepted, you can, with a click of a button, to turn it into a deal to raise money. And then with another click of a button, you can send that deal to hundreds of your investors in your database that have a phone number through texting about the webinar that's coming up. Then once that deal gets closed, you can send monthly updates through the investor portal. You can have your KPIs on the investor portal. So then like using AI to generate these charts and these reports. But for tonight, we're not going to talk about the AI usage on the investor portal, but more the AI usage on underwriting, because that is a whole industry on its own, which I'm really, really excited. Now, what makes underwriting super exciting for me personally is that I study math in college, and in fact, I was a math major. Then I decided to quit math and then become a computer science major because math was really hard for me. But I was a good math student, did the whole math competition in high school, top 500 in the nation, math competition. So I have a passion for math. So it's really cool that I came back to mathematical underwriting and build this program with a few really brilliant engineers that kind of take the spreadsheet and then put them into a software. So I am the product manager, you can say, on underwriting, and so I know everything about underwriting in terms of the software. So that's what I'm going to demonstrate to you. And if you folks have any questions, feel free to stop me anytime. And it's gonna be really exciting. If you haven't seen it, it's gonna be awesome. Okay. All right. Any
Excited. Let's
Yeah,
go.
let's do it. Okay. So, by the way, before I begin, if you really want to put us to the test, you can forward your Renroll and T12 to my email address at perry@casualportal.com. Okay. I'm going to do a sample deal, but if anyone has already emailed me your Renroll and T12 in the next like 5 minutes, so you can just forward the email to me or send it to me, then I'm gonna do your deal. I'm gonna literally increase the volatility of this demo. So it's gonna be a truly live demo. I have not seen whatever you're gonna send me. Okay. But okay, so in the next 2 or 3 minutes, I'll quickly talk about kind of the problem statements on underwriting. Right now, one problem statement is people are underwriting on the weekends and in the evenings. And it takes about 2 hours to make a decision whether it's a go or no go. And that 2 hours is like working out. You're not likely to work out for 2 hours after your W-2 job in the evenings and the weekends. So you kind of keep putting it off, right? What we want to create for underwriting is instead of that 2 hours, we're going to make it 20 minutes of a pleasant Peloton ride so that you can do it, every couple of days. And Judy there is smiling because she loves Peloton. Okay. The
I
next
love the
one is
Peloton. Thank you.
yeah. Next one is about saving time. So the hardest part about underwriting is you get this T12 and you get this Renroll. It could be in a PDF format or the Excel format, and you need to take the data out of it, put them into your spreadsheet. And that process is taking about, half an hour. And I'm here to tell you that that's not productive work. That's not productive time wasted use. And some the old timers might say it's almost like a rite of passage that you have to do that in order to become a GP or a real estate investor. But I will disagree with that statement and say anything that's not contributing to getting that deal is not really time you should be doing, and you can do it more efficiently. That 30 minutes could be spent in time getting more partners, emailing people, talking to brokers, talking to lenders. So that 30 minutes is what we are here to help you save. The more I do underwriting, the more I realize that most spreadsheets are actually not exactly correct. And all the cells in the spreadsheet can be manipulated, right? And so when you send that spreadsheet to someone, they have to know if the spreadsheet, the formulas are actually correct. And so accuracy becomes more and more important. Okay. Let's talk about speed. So a lot of you who are underwriting will get a couple pro formas from your property management company, a couple quotes from Old Capital, whether that's a CNBC loan or that could be a Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac with a U maintenance, without U maintenance, with a pay down, with a bridge loan, with a preferred equity. You may have different GP classes and so on and so forth. And you're gonna get a couple quotes from your property management company with an aggressive renovation budget and with a non-aggressive renovation budget. You have a couple business plans. And then you end up, in order to model all of them out, you have 2 times 2 times 3 times 4. You basically end up with like 30 different combinations. I don't think anyone here will create 30 different spreadsheets, but basically that's what I did. I have a deal. I have a couple quotes. I model them out. Then before closing, I have a updated financial statements. I modeled that one more time. I remember doing the sensitivity analysis, literally number by number, taking a snapshot of it, putting the number on my webinar deck. And then there are 3 months to closing once your LY gets accepted. And every month there's a new rent roll coming out. And so every month I end up doing the same thing over and over again. And so the speed is something that with different scenario planning is something we want to help you solve by making it super easy to combine the scenarios. Okay. All right. So these are the problem statements. The result of that is if underwriting is not your full-time job, then you end up not underwriting as many deals because the barrier of entry is just too painful. It's not pleasant. And we want to make it pleasant. We want to make it fast. We want to make it delightful. And you will see in a second in the next 30 minutes or so. All right. So without further ado, I think Paul, you just sent me a T12 and a rent roll that Scott and you are looking at, right? So let's take a look. Okay, this is cool. Okay, so Scott, I'm gonna share my screen. Scott, I see the T12, but I don't see a rent roll. I also need the rent roll from you. So if you don't have if you can send me in the next few minutes, that'd be great. But otherwise, I can follow up on this one. I need to see the rent roll as well. Okay, but okay, all right, cool. Thank you, Scott. All right, let's go into one of the deals. But if you send it, just put it in the chat, and I can underwrite that one right away. Great, cool. So let me show you a sample example. Okay. So the first thing you might notice on this deal is that you see we have a built-in pipeline that's unassigned, prospective deal, preliminary, and so on and so forth. And we are very proud to announce that there are at least 2 customers that went from unassigned to LOI accepted, and they are ready to turn them into a probably equity raising deal. So that's really exciting. Okay, so they went through the whole life cycle of underwriting to getting that accepted. And I believe it's because also they got really fast because of the tool. So I'm gonna create a deal here. I'm gonna call it North Haven Terrace, but you can, and I'm gonna give a purchase price. It's 32 million. And over here, you might notice that there is the expense template. So you can create different expense templates for different areas. And you can put in what you think is the expense pro forma in that area. Okay, you will see why that comes into play in a second. Okay, now this is built in 1970s. and and the address is this one. I'll show you why this address will come in a second. So journey, I'm gonna upload some fancy photos. Okay, so I'm gonna go into here and then upload a few photos here. Click on submit. All right, now I have this deal I just created. If I come in here, everything is blank, right? Okay. And if you can see here that the first thing I notice is that I have my assumptions, I have my modeling, I have assets, data sources, and then within the assumptions, I have my unit mix, income, expenses, finance, and so on. Okay. What you see here is my T12 is all zero because I have not put in the information. And my pro forma is basically whatever I initially set out to do in Dallas, Texas, because I set this to be the Dallas, Texas pro forma. You can do whatever pro forma you want and you can pre-populate them. Okay. So that's what that looks like. Right now, it's all empty. So let's get down to business and underwrite this deal. First, in terms of navigation, I can do command / and then that allows me to go to any tab I want. I can go to expense tab, I can go to income tab. So this is really try to be like a spreadsheet. Okay. Now the first thing is I'm gonna upload my rent roll, and I'm gonna drag and drop this rent roll, and I'm gonna use the AI parsing. Okay. Gonna download the sample rent roll. Okay. So Pavi, if you have your rent roll uploaded, just let me know and I can do your example. All right.
Yeah, just
So,
emailed it.
oh, cool. Okay. If you do that, let me just do your example. This is awesome. Great. Okay. So again, this is not something I have done before. Okay. So let me do that. Okay. Let me do that. Wow. Look at that. Okay. This is going to be huge embarrassment if we fail. Okay. We'll try it. East Homes. Cool. Well, tell me how many units are there first before I click on this upload.
161, if I
Okay,
remember
cool.
correctly.
So I'm upload 162 units. That's what we got. And what we did is we basically do a pivot table of all your rent comps, of all your rents. Okay, so let me just open up what you sent me. I'm gonna drag and drop this East Homes here so I can open it up on this thing. Okay, so this is what you send us. And we can see that this is the unit number, this is the tax, this is the bedroom and bathroom, and then we take the square footage. As you can see on your rent roll, there's no unit type. And so the AI is smart enough to know that we cannot just concatenate the bedroom and bathroom and the square footage, and that's your unit type. I hope that makes sense, right? And so then we're saying there are 72 units of this guy, 48 units of this guy, and so on and so forth. Okay. All right, so that's really good. Now, so if I go to units, you can measure that these units match what's on your rent roll. So I'm gonna open up this guy, which is the what is this one? This is the let me open up this one is A57C. Okay, A57C. I'm gonna go here and then do search for A57C right here. So this is the rank I'll be looking at. So we see the rank is 1225. Okay, 1225 is my rent. The market rent is 1250, and the market rent is 1250. And so that's all correct. So basically, we take this spreadsheet and we translate it into the data that we understand. And then you can easily see some graphs associated with that rent roll. You can see all the lease expirations. So there are a couple ones that are actually saying that lease expired on 2022, but that's just because the rent roll itself doesn't have the most up-to-date data, and as a result, there's nothing we can do about that. Okay, so that's pretty nice already, right? So that's we parse the rent roll, we accurately determine how many units are there. Okay, I don't think this is a $32 million purchase price anymore. I believe this is like 17 million. Is that correct? Something like that. What's the whisper price there?
Get me on a spot. I think they're looking for like $20 million to buy it.
Perfect. Let's do 20. Yeah, $20 million.
Perry,
Yeah.
can we upload other than T12 and rent roll in Excel, or can it come in as a PDF?
It works on PDF. It's
Okay.
like magic.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There was someone who upload a PDF last night, and they were so impressed they told the whole group about it. So yeah, so it's magic.
And they're probably here in the room because they're so
Yes, that's
excited.
right. Yeah, sure. Yeah. All right. So next one, let's do that. Okay. So again, this is literally the first time I've seen this one. Let's download this T12. Okay. Let me show you what this T12 is, and then let me upload the T12. Okay. So drag and drop here, and then click on next. Okay. This could sometimes take about 3 minutes, sometimes take about like less than a minute. So just wait for it. Okay. Okay. While that's going on, I'm going, okay, so that's parsed now. Great. So let me actually drag and drop this T12 over here. So that took about 10 seconds. Okay. And let me just open it. So what we do with T12 is that we take your spreadsheet, and again, to answer Tiffany's question, even for PDF on T12 or rent roll, we can parse the PDF as well. Okay, so only two formats, just the PDF or the rent roll. But only only PDF or Excel, but not like some other file types. Okay, like Google Docs, we cannot parse that as an example. Okay, but Google Excel we can. So here you can see row 15 corresponds to the row 15 on your spreadsheet. So we say row 15 is rent income, and the total is 1.3 million. And right here, the total is 1.3 million. We put the total first. So month one is 91,572, and line one is 91572. Okay. So AI does the preliminary parsing of each one of those rows. So we are saying that this is rental income. We also believe the second one is rental income. AI is thinking that concessions is rental income, which is correct. But if you want to be pedantic about it, then you can mark this one as concessions. And then the next one will be under over rent posting. I believe that's what's called economic, like vacancy, I guess, or you can call it loss to lease. Actually, this is loss to lease. Okay. Then allowances, there's employee concessions. I would think this is concessions. And then this is also concessions. And then, by the way, you can also drag and drop here. So I taking care of the income now. Okay, so there's a little bit of a manual effort, but let's just go down the list. This is a water income, rental income, gas charges. I believe that's all other income, so that's correct. If I scroll down a little bit more, this is all other income, so that's also correct, right? This is all other income. One thing you folks might notice is that the AI is not parsing row 44. It's not doing that because if you were to parse row 44, it will be double counting. This is just the subtotal of all the things above it. Okay, right?
Perry, could you zoom in a little bit?
Yeah. So zoom in or zoom out, like zoom in here
Zoom
like this.
in just so that people can see. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
I
that's
like that.
helpful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So you can see expenses. There's the security deposit retained. To be honest, I have no idea what this refers to. Like at the end of the day, this is like an art, right? Underwriting is art. So I put them as like, maybe I call this on general admin, but I think it's like it's such small number, so it doesn't really exactly matter. But AIs know that this is all payroll. AIs know that this is all general admin, which is correct. This is all marketing. Property tax is separate. Insurance is being parsed. This is all professional services. I guess that's correct. Property management fee, that's correct. Now let's talk about utilities. Electricity, gas, water, trash, and then this is kind of like all the other stuff here. Now, so people here underwrite. How many of you will classify this as utilities other, or how many will classify this as contract services? Maybe Pavi, you are underwriting this. Maybe you can shout it out here.
So I'm actually not the underwriter on the team, but I would classify it as utility stuff.
Okay, utility other. So it is correct. So AI. Okay. The meta point here is if you think that this is not correct, you as a user can override it. So the AI does kind of the first pass. Okay. And then there is the property tax. So there's the other property expense. There's the security patrol. We think it's contract services, and that's correct. Equipment rental, that's contract service. That's actually correct. So there's repairs and maintenance. Generator. This is all repairs and maintenance. That's all correct. Okay. You can also see, if since I'm zooming in, that you can see that the mortgage is not getting classified. That's because when you're underwriting the loan, you want to use your fresh loan. You don't want to use the T12 loan, right? That makes no sense. Okay. So basically, the only thing I end up changing is the top, which is the rental income. But this is just more for pedantic reasons that I want this to be called concessions as opposed to rental income. But so far, I have gone through the T12. AI does the first pass, and I can override things should I want to. And now I'm ready to generate my financial model. So I click on generate, and I can generate my income and my expenses. And I'm going to use my own template. The other version is I can just use the same numbers as the T12. Okay. So I'm going to do the template version. Okay. I'm gonna go.
So let me just stop you for just a second. Is there only a couple templates? Would there be an SDA for the syndicated deal analyzer by Michael Blanc that is available?
Yeah, good question. So great question. So when I say templates here, I actually mean these expense templates. Okay. There are lots of spreadsheets out there, and the what is about our underwriting software is we actually provide the full underwriting model in addition to the parsing. So what we are not doing is we parse it and you save it to your own spreadsheet. What we do is we combine all of the data so you can do all the mathematical manipulations directly on our software.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Great, cool. All right.
Now I do have a question came in from Tiffany. What is the percentage of error when it's taken from the T12 itself and brought over? Is there a certain amount that you allow margin of error for this transfer?
Yeah, absolutely. So the margin of error, there basically when you upload the T12, we're gonna take your spreadsheet. So the data on the spreadsheet is gonna be 100% carryover.
Oh,
The classification accuracy is about 95%.
okay. Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. So that's that. Now, I did my T12, I uploaded, and my IRR is not updating. Let's take a look at why. Everything starts with the modeling. You can find out a bunch of things about modeling. Okay, so the modeling is saying my potential rent is 2.4 million. I have a economic vacancy of 12%, and then I apparently am going to increase my total income by 45% on the first year. Well, that's kind of aggressive, but let's stay with that statement. My expense ratio is 61%. So I know that, hey, you know what? My 61% is too high of an expense ratio. We need to reduce that a little bit. Okay. And so my DSCR right now is like negative than 1, which is not good. I'm like technically losing money in this deal. Okay. So let's observe what happens here. Okay. So let's go into my expenses. Okay. So I check modeling, and then I check that, hey, this deal initially doesn't make any sense. So why does it not make sense? So right now I am in the expense tab. This is all my T12. Okay. And it's saying that contract services is about $21 a unit. And I am
Perry, can you bring that in? Can you bring it up so we can see a little better?
Let me
Thanks.
zoom in a lot so that folks can see. Okay.
Yep.
Actually, let me just do it this way. So contract services, $21 per unit, and I'm budgeting $350 per unit, which is way over budgeting. Okay. The the T12 is only $800,000 of expenses, and I'm budgeting like 40% more. Yeah, in that world, like nothing ever makes sense. Like there's no way I can underwrite it. So you can see our template actually doesn't do its justice. Like, so what you want to do is it's like, you know what, whatever the T12 is doing, I'm just gonna take whatever number just so I can do the first pass. You see what I'm saying? So you can click this button called convert to pro forma. So when I do that, when I click this thing, this will become from 21 to 21. It just literally converts from what T12 into pro forma. Makes sense, right? Same thing. This one is 562. I budget 500. And what is this one? This is water. And so, okay, this is pretty accurate. I like this one. Okay, keep as it is. This one, I think $100 versus 25 for gas. Okay, fair enough. It's not the end of the world. Electricity, they're only spending $92 and I'm spending 250 or I'm budgeting 250. That's too aggressive. I'm just gonna keep whatever they have. And then this one, I'm gonna do the same thing. This one, I'm gonna do the same thing. And then over here, repairs and maintenance. They're spending a lot of money on repairs and maintenance, but I'm not. I'm gonna spend $600. Aha, here's the problem. Apparently, they're only spending $700 on payroll, which I don't really believe, but we are budgeting 1700. So that is a question mark. So I will note that here of like a question mark. Yeah, question mark. Why is it so cheap on their payroll? But for now, I'm gonna use whatever numbers they're using on the T12. Okay. Okay. So there's $100. And then this one is what? Marketing. Okay. So I'm just going down the list to make sure that I got everything correct. The last thing here is apparently their property tax is only $1,000 per unit, and I am budgeting $2,500 per unit. So that's way over budgeting. So I'm gonna just use whatever their ratio is, 174. Maybe I'm gonna make it 1%, so to be a little bit more conservative. Okay. And then the property management fee, I'm gonna using the 3.5%. So like they're only doing like $200 per unit. Like that's really cheap. Oh, because they don't have that much occupancy. That's why. And then the professional services, I'm gonna carry that over. So now they're looking at 63,000, and I am 855,000, and then I'm going to save it. Okay. Once I save it, I notice that my IRR now is 5% and my total investor return is 28%. And in 5 years, I'm going to sell it for 21 million. So I don't really believe that 20 million is what they will end up purchasing for. I think the more realistic price is about 17 million. And so you're purchasing it for a 3.45% cap rate, and then you exiting it about 6.5% cap rate. If you want to believe that this is a Class A property, I'm going to do a 6% cap rate, and that's going to improve my returns and so on. So that will be my preliminary test. What have I done? I have looked at the income. I have looked at the income increase. I believe my expense ratio is about 40%. I don't know if this is a Class A property. So, Pavi, do you know much about this property? Is this a Class A or this is a
That'll be probably more like C.
This is a C. Oh, this is a, then there's no way. I think all the financials are kind of like really messed up in this case. Okay.
Yeah, we think they're kind of outrageous with their asking price on this.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And I mean, at the end of the day, they probably are underwater. So this is the price in which they can pay their loan or whatever reason, right? So there's that. All right. So again, I have not seen this deal ever, so I don't know the history behind it. And at the end of the day, we need to know a little bit about the history of it and so on. Okay. But let's kind of continue with this idea. Okay. So the first thing I notice is a red flag to me is the year one is a total income increase of 45%. And I don't think that's possible. I just don't think that's possible. You can achieve that in the first year. Okay. So, and there is the forced appreciation rent increase of 18%. So the first thing I will do is I go here, and whenever you click on something, it kind of takes you to where it came from. So I have this 18% rental increase. Now, most of the time when you underwrite, the rent and the pro forma is going to be actualized in the very first year. That's how most spreadsheets work. And you can do it this way. You can create this advanced mode, okay? And instead of 12 months of lease up period, you can do 36 months or 32 months, whatever number you want. Then you're gonna right click on this thing, okay? So right click on this. Second, let me just here, okay. Right click on this, and then you do fill down. So this, and then right click, and then fill down. And then so I'm gonna take about 36 months to lease out all my units. Go ahead and save. Okay. So instead of doing it over the course of a year, if I zoom in here a little bit, forced appreciation rent increase. So then instead of a that big of a jump, you have 6% increase, 5% increase, and 5% increase. That's over the course of 3 years. So you can do that. So just know that's not something that spreadsheet could something spreadsheet can do. If I click into this economic vacancy, I also think that 12% is a little bit too conservative for this particular deal. And I can say, the first year is gonna 30% of economic vacancy, 20% for second year, and then 15% and so on. So if I model that, then I can evaluate. If I go to modeling now, and double take a look at the number. So you can see first year, it's a very small income increase. Second year, I have a big jump. The third year, I have another big jump and so on. Okay. So this is how I will underwrite it. Okay. Again, I have never seen this deal before. I don't actually know the history. I'm like doing a demo at the same time. I'm looking at this deal because it's a very, very interesting deal here. Okay. So that I think it's good for my income. Okay. Now, let me get back to the income. So income here, you can see the current rent is 840 and the pro forma is 975. And this is 1100, 1300, 1100, 1300, 790, and this is 1300. I don't believe that this can rent for 1300. I also don't believe that this can rent for 1300. Right now, it's just a pro forma, which means that it's heuristically, we are taking just the highest rent of this unit type as appear on your. So Anthony asked a question, where do I get the pro forma? We get the pro forma because on your data sources, on your each one of those unit types, we have the minimum, maximum, average, 25th, 75 percentile. And heuristically, we're taking the maximum with the belief that if at least one of the units can rent for that much, you can bring the rest of them up to market. But this deal, I have not underwritten this deal. This deal is very different. This deal is almost like a distressed property. And I don't think their maximum is telling the truth. So what I might do is actually I might take the 75 percentile, okay? And then I go to assumptions and I'm just gonna paste that entire row down. Okay. So that's gonna be much better.
So I want to step out for just a minute. So when you said it went to 975, that's based on one of the units.
Yes.
There's no data that you're pulling from somewhere
that's
else.
no data. Yeah,
Okay.
There's no data that you're pulling from. The pro forma rent so far is purely based on some heuristic of the rent roll that you provide. In most stabilized properties, it is good enough. In this one, it's just really weird that I don't. It's incorrect. But what I also show in this case is that you can copy the other metric, which is the 75th percentile, and see how the numbers work out. So far, so good. So far, we are using the rent rolls data. But you might say, well, that's good, but I actually want the real data. First, folks can tell me how you get the real data. You open up your Google and you search for this property. You look at Zillow.com, you look at apartments.com. You spend about 30 minutes trying to find the rent comp. And there's like a whole 30 minutes to an hour just getting the rent comp. That's my second. Yeah, or more. This is my second part. You're gonna go to rent comps. Okay, I have nothing here. And so in this case, I don't have the right address. So I need to change my address. Do we know what's the address for this guy? So there is this one. Property groups. East Holmes, Ohio. Maybe let me just see. Do we know if there is a address for this person? Probably if you can find it, that would be great.
I'm going to paste it in
I
the
think
chat.
this is one. Yeah, right here, right? This is the address.
Dublin.
East Worthington.
Dublin, Granville. Yep, that sounds right.
Okay, that sounds right. Okay, cool. So then I'm going to go to my assets. I need to change my address because initially I was doing it the other way, right? I was using my own deal. So X65 East Dublin, okay, Columbus, Ohio. I'm gonna save it. Okay, gotta take this address and then I'm going to go my rent comps. So get rent comps. I'm getting rent comps for this guy, and I'm gonna get one bedroom. I'm gonna do import. Takes about 5 seconds. It goes out to Columbus, Ohio, and search all the rent comps in that area. And you can sort them by radius. Okay. And then what you can do is you can say filter. I'm gonna get my 1 bedroom and my 1 bathroom, filter only the ones and ones. And then this is my numbers. Okay. You can sort them like, hey, my closest comp is probably this guy. That's like 770. And my highest rent that I can possibly achieve, like that's something that's I don't think that's possible. But so the answer is somewhere in between. I can also do like rent comp per square foot. And it seems the highest I can charge is like $1.50. And maybe $1.40 is like what I'm looking at. So I take $1.40, I go back to unit mix, I take the 1 bedroom. This is 650 square foot. So I'm going to do 650 square foot multiplied by 1.41. And so my realistic number is $900.16. So that's one way to do it for this one. Like so what have I said? We use the pro forma directly from your rent roll, making it heuristic. But then you can also um, uh, go off and fetch the rent count from the internet. Okay. Just I want to make sure here. I think you send a different address. So let me go to assets and go to here. A69. Yeah, this is correct. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Cool. So there is a way to just to fetch the rent counts directly from the internet. Okay. All right. So that's how I set this up. And 11% increase is not bad. Like I will believe that story if you show me this deal. Okay. I also think that the 790 to 1300 makes no sense. So I might do it like $1,200, and then okay. So let's do a 1,200 here. 1,200. Okay. Cool. So that's about 11% increase. Cool. So that's on the unit mix. Okay. So let me go back to modeling. You have these models, you have these expenses, and my expense to income ratio now is like 53%, 46%, 41%. Okay, that's getting there. That's becoming more believable. But you can also see my first year DSCR is not gonna like make it. This is not a perhaps a good deal here. Okay. And so first year I'm actually losing money. And then the second year I'm starting to make money. Okay, so that's the way I would look at it. Okay, so far so good. All right. So let me pause there. Let me kind of like pause there and for folks to ask questions, either financing or modeling or GPLP returns or sensitivity analysis, because I can really go down a rabbit hole of like going through the entire underwriting model here.
Well, we have about 10 more minutes, so let's
Yeah.
see if anybody in the room wants to, let's see, does it provide a suggested price range to offer?
Yeah. So right now, what you want is you have the IRR, and you can look at the sensitivity analysis here. So go to modeling and sensitivity analysis, and so these are the exit cap rates and then the equity multiple. So right now, if you have an IRR, the way to do it is just keep changing the purchase price until you hit your IRR criteria. What's in the next version is that you define your IRR, and then we're gonna tell you like, hey, here is what you should offer. This is not yet becoming a decision engine where you can tell you what to do. You just kind of have to play with the numbers until you achieve a certain IRR. So that's a good question.
Can I ask one
Sure.
on that? So in the instance, like for instance, this one shows that it's like 13.68% IRR. Like initially looking, it's like, oh, that's not too bad, right? But then when you show the first year pro forma, it shows that you're going to be losing money. So how do we balance that?
How do you balance that? I will say, so on this particular deal, I don't think, here's, okay. So let me give you a real example, a real scenario. So I have not seen this deal. I literally underwriting it for first time. And so I come across on the desk at night and I only have a few minutes to underwrite it, right? What is my goal of that evening underwriting session? I don't think my goal is to whether I'm going to make an offer or not. The goal of that first underwriting session is what are the questions I should ask the lender? What are the questions I should ask the broker? The first session is to come up with a list of concerns. And so I think based on this, my first concerns, I will go back to the lender is like, hey, so this is not in Texas. That's why the property tax is so low. That's great. Like, why is the payroll this way? And then like, like why is the payroll so low? I guess that's first question. And then why are the repairs and maintenance so high? Like, what did you do with the property and so on? And the property tax, how is it gonna increase? I don't know Columbus, Ohio. I don't know how these units are going to increase. But based on my underwriting, yeah, the first year I'm like quote unquote losing money. And I don't know why is that. It's because I'm not increasing my rent fast enough in the first year. I will not reject the deal just because the first year is that much. That's because I put 30% economic vacancy. So like if I put like say 20% economic vacancy here, I will not lose money on the first year. So it's like this is all at the end of the day, like what you think the future should be. The software is only really like whatever you plug in, whatever number came out. Like we are nobody knows in this room whether the economic vacancy should be 20% or 25%. But what you can know is that 20% economic vacancy, it does still have cash flow, but 30% does not. So it's not the end of the world. This property, I mean, I can make it work, but you better need to increase the income by like 17% on the first year in order to quote unquote make it on your first year. So that's kind of what you know. So at the end of the day, like let's put it this way. We're not prescient about the future. We don't know what's the exit cap rate. We don't know the business plan. We don't know how to buy this deal. We're not investment advisors. If we were so prescient about whether we should buy this property or not, I will say I'm in the wrong business. I should not be a software company. I should be an investment company. So I don't know the answer. What we could do is kind of give you the tool that you can quickly help you make these decisions. Yeah, great. So
Makes sense.
yeah.
Can you use it to assess a currently owned property for sale?
Yeah, good question. So 100%. A lot of people are using it to do the following. So you can put in your own property and you can see how much it can sell for. And another thing that people use it for is to assess whether a refinance makes sense. So this is lender one. And lender one right now has only 75% LTV and 6% interest rate and so on and so forth, right? But what you can do is you can go to manage finance scenarios. I'm going to create a copy. And then in this one, you can call it lender two. But I'm gonna call lender one with refinance. Okay. So you can test a refinance scenario. You can do it on your own property. You can do it with a future, with a prospective property. Okay. So that's good. And then I'm gonna turn on this refinance. And I'm gonna say 3 years from now, I'm gonna refinance a 6% cap rate, and then I'm gonna have a 75% LTV. Let's hope that interest rate is 5% at that point. Go ahead and save it. Okay. Now, here is the magic. Previously on a spreadsheet, you have to create a new spreadsheet for that new scenario, right? Here, you can create a scenario without destroying the old scenario. And with the refinance example, it's a 15% IRR. But the total return is a little bit lower, okay? But if without the refinance, is lower IRR, but with a slightly higher return. And so that you can see literally very quickly. Let me show you another example. Without the refinance, okay, if I go into GPLP returns, I have a GPLP. I can do all the waterfalls like liquidation event. It's an 80-20 split. This is the easiest waterfall, okay? But if I scroll down, you can see class A is making this amount of cash flow, and then and then on the 5th year, I'm going to sell it, and then this is my sales proceeds, and then this is how much me as a GP will make. So that's kind of nice, right? Now, if I go into refinance, okay, finance, and I am going to turn on finance, okay, refinance. I'm gonna turn on this refinance. So the refinance now is the active scenario. And then let me go into the GPLP split. Everything changes. You see here, Class A, on the third year, you see that there is a refinance money coming back on the third year, right? So as you change the scenarios, kind of the returns all change, which is really, really helpful. And so what you can do is you can, with your current deals, you can actually do all kinds of like scenario modeling. What if I take a supplemental loan? Supplemental loan is super easy. All you do is you basically do a multiple loans and you can add or if I do a seller financing. So this is for a new deal, or this could be for a existing deal that you already have. Yeah. So that's that.
Amazing. So much functionality. Alex wants to know, what is the break-even occupancy at this property?
I believe the break-even occupancy, if I go to sensitivity analysis, okay, and then there is the kind of like, if I look at here, this is kind of what it looks like: rent growth and then exit cap. We don't have the occupancy. Oh yeah, I think we have the. I don't know if we have economic vacancy. Yeah, that's a good question. We currently don't serve that data. That's a great question. I know that's a common question, so we'll add that to our roadmap. What we do show is as the exit cap changes, this is what happens to equity multiple. And then what happens when the rent growth is not 3%, it's more like 2%, 2.5%. And that's what happens to the cash and cash. And so what you want is what is the break-even economic vacancy. In fact, I guess I can actually find that answer. It's not like it doesn't tell you the answer. You have to find the answer. But the way I'm gonna find that is right now my project cash flow is 90,000 right on the first year. So that's the 20% economic vacancy. I know that 25,000 is losing money, so I'm gonna try 25,000 or 25%. So I'm gonna go to kind of like modeling, and then I'm gonna like look at this. Okay, I'm losing $4,000. So the answer to the question is 25% economic vacancy. You gotta start losing money.
Okay. How many units is that, though? We'd have to figure out what 20%
Yeah. So 25% of
of
160.
160. Yeah.
40 units.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Like I said in the beginning, by asking for people to send us their rent roll and T12, I really increased the volatility of this demo. Like I have no idea what this demo does. I'm like doing the demo and I'm like trying to learn about this property. And so someone here said a really good point. Richard said a great point. At the end of the day, you need to know both the story of the property and the hard skill set of underwriting. We are providing just like the hard skill set, but without the story, it's really hard to make sense of this thing. Now, initially, just like this deal makes no sense until so and so told us that, oh, this is the backstory. They try to whatever. And now initially, I thought this is a Class A property. No, it's not. It's Class C. Yeah.
That's amazing. Wow. All right. I know that we've got another question here. Is there an option to transport this underwriting summary into a concise form to be able to provide the highlights of the data to
Yeah.
present to a potential sponsor?
Yeah, so there are two ways. One is you can go to summary, and this is something we're gonna make it better. And you ask the LP, hey, how much you interested? I'm like, I'm gonna go in for $50,000. So I'm gonna type 50,000. Okay, this is your return. So I'm gonna do like here. You can see there's the third year refinance, which is 27, which is really cool. And then you export this thing, and then it will have your logo on it. You will have these data, and then at the bottom, you will have all this kind of photos that we uploaded. We are going to make this much, much better. So one day, you should read your webinar, you should read your offering memorandum. You should have data about the market. You should have crime rate. And so I hope that 80% of your webinar deck can be written directly from here. We're already here. We're already making steps. The reason there is a download button to next to this sensitivity analysis is that back in the day, I was creating this sensitivity analysis every single line by line. Like I change the cap rate, record that number, change the cap rate one more time, record that number, take a screenshot of that, and now you're just a download away for putting it on your webinar deck. So this is one way to share the data. The second way, which I also really like, is that if you click on share and you do add member, and then you can add them as a GP, LP, lender, or broker, or you can have them collaborate, or you can have them create a separate copy. And this is something people really like. They start a deal, they invite like 10 of their buddies, and then they all collaborate together. So that's really cool.
Amazing information, and you should be very proud of this. I'm just so impressed. Marcus has a question, and then we're gonna find out how do we know more about you. So Marcus, do you have a question, or did we already answer it?
No. I was actually gonna add to the question about the economic vacancy? The break-even occupancy. Okay, so just a word of advice. Anytime you have an economic vacancy like that on this deal or any, they're not collecting money. That means
Yes.
renters are not paying, or renters are not paying.
Yes.
So you also want to palpate property management companies in the area if you don't already have those connections, and see who's the real deal. I've worked with countless owners who buy deals in this situation and worse, and they expect us to work a miracle, and it's only so much we can do. I won't say it's not a deal, but you're gonna have to do some serious negotiating.
Oh, very good. Right. I'm so glad that you
love that statement.
Yeah, provided that insight. So, all right, Perry, I know there's so much in this offering. If somebody wants to have a demo, learn more, tell us how to do that.
Yeah, so I'll tell you about two things. One is you can take out your phone and you can just take a photo of this. Or if you are in front of a computer, that you can go directly to cashflowportal.com/demo. And that allows you to put your name there. So we know you come from Zoom at 8. And then you can schedule a demo. I'm gonna put the link here as well, so you can click on it. Okay. You'll be speak to one of our team members that they can answer kind of the more specific questions about this deal, this underwriting. I also want to just quickly touch on pricing. Okay, so pricing is really important. One thing to know about Cashflow Portal is that we have multiple products, and so we try to be the all-in-one solution for commercial real estate. And so what that means is that you don't have to use one product in order to be a customer for the other. What that means is you can start off with just underwriting. You don't have to be an investor portal customer, and you don't have to be a CRM customer. We hope that one day you can use once you have a deal, you will use ours for investor portal, because it's a one-click button to make it into a deal to raise money. But you can start with underwriting. And the way that underwriting works is that if you're planning on doing one new deal a month, it's $19 per month per seat. If you're doing 5 new deals a month, then if you're underwriting 5 new deals a month, then it's $49 per month per seat. And then if you're doing 20 new deals, it's $79 per month per seat. Okay, so that's that. I think that this is really good for someone who just want to try it out. When you sign up, you also get a 2-week free trial, so you can play with it for free. And then after 2 weeks, if you feel like this is serving you well, you can do the beginner plan, and you can upgrade to emerging anytime you want if you need more than the 1 month per seat. I can also tell you that the underwriting is an institutional software. So meaning that the things that you see on the rent rolls, the rent comps, the scenario analysis, this is usually by company for institutions. And so the basic price for institutional software starts at like $10,000 a year, and we are offering it for $19 a month per seat. We don't plan to make money on the kind of this part. Most of our money is actually made off the enterprise teams, like the brokers and the lenders and the large investment firms, and we don't get anything. And the reason we do that is we want to democratize underwriting. I believe everyone should have access to a really cool underwriting software, and it's not just the enterprise brokers and the lenders have access to that. So you can literally get started for free, and then after 14 days, you can do the $19 per month per seat or the 49. So there's that. Okay.
Fantastic.
Mhm.
Does it come with videos so that if somebody
Yes.
needed to watch? Okay, great.
Yeah, it 100% come with videos and training, and there will be all kinds of videos that will help you. Yep.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, this is beyond amazing. I'm so
Mhm.
glad that you were here to share it with us. I've been waiting and waiting for this amazing product. So thank you for sharing it with us.